Hey y'all, welcome to Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger, and I sure am glad to have y'all with us today.
Old dogs dreaming by the rocking chair, mason jar tea chilling in the evening air, sweet hickory smoke rising off the grill. Time stops cold while the porch sits still. Yeah, we're back porch cooking and reminiscing, a little bit of heaven that we're all just missing. Keep the stories rolling like the sun sinking low. That's the back porch life, baby. Here we go.
This morning I was looking through our big stand-up freezer and found a couple of steaks that I didn't really even remember that I had. And these steaks are sirloin steaks. So what we're going to make today is a oven roasted sirloin steak with onion and mushroom gravy. And we're going to make a little bit of mashed potatoes to go with it. Maybe something else on the side, but the star of the show is going to be that sirloin steak. So, y'all sit back, relax, get you something cold to drink, and get ready to learn how to make a oven roasted sirloin steak with gravy. We've got our two pieces of sirloin steak here. We've got our pot over here, or our pan. We've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil and probably maybe a half a teaspoon of bacon grease in there. That's going to give us some really good flavor. We got that good and hot right now. So now we're going to season our steaks. So the first thing we're going to season them with, and I want y'all to pay real close attention because I've gotten comments about this before. I'm handling my condiment containers with my right hand. I'm going to handle the meat with my left hand. Okay, so we're not doing any cross contamination. All right, so we're going to come in with some salt and a little black pepper and a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder. Then we're going to flip those over. And we're going to season the other side the same way. Salt, pepper. Now on these steaks, I did let them sit out and kind of come toward a room temperature before I started doing the seasonings on them. A little bit of garlic powder and some onion powder. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put those steaks in our olive oil and we're going to sear them. We're going to do that for about 2 minutes on each side. So here we go. Good sizzle on that one. Good sizzle on that one. We're going to kind of tilt our pan so we get a good coating of oil on all sides of the steak. And we're going to give it about 2 minutes. We've been 2 minutes on that side. And we're going to take them, turn them over, and give them 2 minutes on that side. We've got 2 minutes on the other side. So we're going to pull them out. We're going to just put them over here in a plate. Now that we've got our steaks seared and we've got some fond here in the pan from where we seared them, we're going to take we've got basically a large onion here. And I just cut it into kind of wedges like that so it would break up. And we're going to put them in the pan there. And we're going to put us some mushrooms in there. I believe that'll do us on mushrooms. And now we're just going to give these onions and mushrooms a good stir because we want those to cook and get translucent. Our onions and mushrooms have been cooking about 5, maybe 6 minutes. and they're getting soft and translucent. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of self-rising flour into this mix. There's 1 and 2. Now we're going to just give that a good stirring and mix it in with the onions and the mushrooms. And then we want to let that cook for a couple of minutes just to cook that raw flour taste out of it. Those onions and mushrooms are smelling good. I believe we've got that mixed in pretty well, so we're going to just let that cook for a minute or two, and then we'll add our beef broth into it. Our onions and mushrooms with the flour's been cooking for about 2 minutes now. So now we're ready to add our beef broth, and we've got 1.5 cups of beef broth. We're just going to pour it right in there with everything else. And we're going to give that a good stir and get up anything that's left on the bottom from where we put the flour in. And we're going to add just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce into that. Because Worcestershire goes good with steak. Give it another good stir around. Get that Worcestershire sauce mixed in. And we're going to let this cook for just a few minutes and let it get a little thicker than what it is right now. We let our onions, mushrooms, and our gravy come to a simmering boil. And so now we're ready to put our steaks back in there. So we're going to take our steaks. We're going to just place them right in there. And we're going to pour all the juices that came off the steaks. We're going to just pour that right back in. Give it a little stir. Try to get a little bit of your juice up on your steaks, or your gravy up on your steaks. We've got the oven has preheated to 350 degrees. And so we're going to put a lid on this pot. And if you don't have a lid, if you have using a skillet or a pan or whatever that you don't have a lid for, you can cover it with aluminum foil. Just be sure you cover it tight. And now we're going to go into this 350-degree oven. So while our steak is in the oven cooking, I was able to find a little bit of history about smothered sirloin steak. So I'm going to read you what I found. It says, when a lot of folks hear smothered steak, they automatically picture country fried steak with a thick flour batter. But true old school southern smothered sirloin doesn't use a dredge at all. We let the beef go bare right into the hot skillet. This way of cooking goes back to early Cajun and Creole kitchens, where smothering or etouffee was an art form. Rural home cooks knew that if you put a heavy flour coating on beef and let it simmer in gravy, the batter just turns to mush. But searing bare beef, that gives you pure, unadulterated flavor. When you pull that steak out, all those rich drippings left behind are liquid gold. By sprinkling the flour straight into that hot beef fat, you build a classic roux. It scrapes up every single bit of flavor-packed fond stuck to the bottom of the skillet, creating a gravy that's 10 times richer than anything you'd get from a battered steak. This was the backbone of old Southern plate lunches and frontier kitchens. You take a good beefy sirloin, sear it bare, build a gravy right in the pan, and let it braise slow until it's fork tender. Simple, frugal, and downright delicious. So a little bit of history on where the smothered sirloin first came from. Where steak is now done, that gravy is nice and thick, and we cooked this for about an hour and 40, hour and 50 minutes. So you're going to be looking at about that length of time. And, you may have to even let it go a little bit longer until it gets good and tender. But I tested it for tenderness. It seemed really tender. So I'm ready to put it on a plate and see how it tastes. So here's our finished plate. We've got our steak with the onions and the mushroom gravy, creamed potatoes. We'll put a little gravy over top of that, and some broccoli and cheese. So gonna let this cool for just a minute, and then we're gonna see how it is. We got our plate here, and I got me a good piece of steak and some onion and mushroom on there, and we're gonna try it out and see how it is. Mm, mm, mm. Try some potatoes. That steak is super tender. I'm not going to say that you could cut it with a fork, but it's pretty darn close to cutting it with a fork. Gravy is perfect. The consistency of the gravy, the mushrooms, the onions, it's just really, really good. I would recommend this recipe to any of you guys out there who like steak, but you like it tender like I do. You don't like it to be chewy or tough. Doing it this way, basically you're braising it in the oven, low and slow, and it turns out great. You may have to let it cook for an hour, 40 minutes, 2 hours, just depending on your oven and how thick the piece of steak is. Could even have to go longer if it's a thicker piece of steak, but it's worth the wait, I promise you. So, guys, make this for your family, share it with your friends, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Click on that bell so you'll get the notifications when we put up a new video. And we appreciate y'all being here today and watching us cook a good piece of steak. Y'all have a great day, and we will see you next time. Don't forget our Amazon store and our Etsy shop. Leave a link for you in the description on both of those, and we will see you in a day or two. Y'all have a great one.